I'm Gemma from Dorset Mind. I'm going to be interviewing today about your personal training and how it links to well-being and mental health. So to start off, would you like to introduce who you are and what got you into personal training?
Yeah, I'm Sophie Hayes. I am a personal trainer based in Weymouth and Dorchester. My business name is Sweat with Sophie. How did I get into personal training? Kind of fell into it a bit, really, in the kind of lockdown one. Health and fitness has been a big passion of mine for the last kind of 6-7 years in terms of running and then progressing to weight training. I think it was just a really good time for me to kind of go into it and make my passion and my hobbies like a living. So best thing I've ever done.
Perfect. Yeah, great. Okay. And how did you begin to introduce healthier habits into your daily routine before your initial journey to become a personal trainer? And what sort of habits did you introduce at the time?
When I kind of got into living a healthier lifestyle, I think I was a really unhappy person at the time. So I think what I did was I started off with just running. I think it's the whole, oh, I want to lose weight, what do? I just started running. I wouldn't say that it was the healthiest thing for me. And kind of looking back on it, I really kind of did punish myself a little bit. But I started introducing, running into my kind of weekly routine, and then slowly started kind of training for a 5k, 10k, half marathon, kind of went from there. And then hand in hand, nutrition has to take precedent as well if you want to get better at something. So I really kind of started to watch what I eat and include healthier things, but again, didn't necessarily do it in the most healthiest way. And that's kind of looking back on that now. I was very restrictive. So yeah, I just kind of started with that, really.
Yeah, it's interesting how that kind of journey's progressed for you then, going into those healthier habits. That's great.
I just wish I knew what I knew now going into it. I'm so passionate about sharing so many things and sharing my own experiences with my clients, and I suppose on social media about my experiences, as I would hate for someone to have those as well. Feel very strongly about that.
No, that's great that you can almost give them that advice before they get into those unhealthier habits right at the beginning of their journey. Yeah, definitely.
I think it's healthy. You think this is what I should be doing. Diet culture tells me to do. This is what I need to do, and it's not. So yeah, very passionate about helping people in the off, not going down that long road that's going to come back and then they're going to have to go down a different road. Like, God, I would have made so much progress quicker if I hadn't done those things.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you sort of tailor these training programs to a specific individual? And do you have clients with mental health conditions that you have to take into account with these routines?
Yeah, so no client is the same, and no training program for each client is the same. Yeah, Warren, there's a couple of sessions that I can do with a number of my clients because they're very similar in terms of kind of fitness level and what they can do. And yes, I do have a couple of clients that do suffer from mental health issues, and we work very closely together on that because a PT session or exercise can either make or break. If it's too intense, it's not going to be beneficial. If it's not intense enough, then you have to get the level right. And if you're not in a right frame of mind, then how are you going to kind of execute something? So I kind of say to my guys, like, please tell me if there's things going on, you haven't had the best day, work's a bit stressful, your environment's a bit stressful. Like, we need to work together in terms of, because I would never want to push someone so far that they haven't got the benefits of exercise. It's kind of, they've gone away and beaten themselves up because they hadn't kind of hit. But yeah, so it all depends on where they are kind of mindset before coming into that session. So yeah, I always say to the guys, look, just because it's planned, it doesn't mean it need to happen. Like, we can do whatever you want. Yeah, so it can be kind of make or break, and we want to make break.
Yeah, no, that's great that you sort of take where their mental health is into account and sort of tailor it to them individually. That's great.
Definitely.
And sorry to cut you off there. Why do you think nutrition and well-being or wellness is important to consider besides sort of that physical exercise side of things?
Well, it's really cliche, but you are what you eat. And if you're not putting enough of the good stuff into your body, then you're not going to feel energized. You're not going to be able to take on the day. You're not going to be able to kind of get through the tough days if you're not fueling right. But then also it can go the other way. And if you're not having those kind of sweet treats, biscuits and whatever, then you're going to feel quite unhappy because, look, we're not athletes. We need those. We need those little sweet things to make us happy. So it's about getting the kind of balance right. And again, it's what I was saying previous, is not restricting too much, because then that's going to make you very unhappy. But yeah, if you're not getting your vitamins and your minerals, then your sleep's going to be affected, your performance, your energy levels, everything will kind of suffer from that. And of course, drinking enough water as well. So basics really do work when it comes to nutrition and hydrating yourself.
Yeah, no, it's those basic things that people might not think is too important, that they can make a huge difference. Like you're saying, just having that odd treat can really make a difference to how you're emotionally feeling, and I guess that probably impacts on how they perform themselves physically as well.
Definitely. And it's not about buying the most expensive supplements, vitamins, protein shakes, all that kind of thing. It's actually, are you getting enough fruit and vegetables per day? Are you drinking enough water? Are you balancing kind of your meals, and are you eating enough as well? Yeah, basics work. It's not about kind of how much you're spending on these kind of quick fix things. It's literally
Yeah, no, there's a lot of, as you say, like those quick fixes that are very expensive and advertised, but I think it's great that you recognize the importance of just those fruit and veg and how important that is. Yeah.
And consistency with that as well. You can't eat like that for one day and feel great. It needs to be over time and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the issue with the quick fixes, is they're advertised and marketed, oh, you'll feel amazing, blah blah blah, spend loads of money on this, and it's like, yeah, only for a short period of time are you going to see any results, and then it's not maintainable.
Yeah, and then you go back to how it was before, and you end up feeling the same way you did, and then it's like a cycle, I suppose. You go through it.
Is previous.
Yeah.
It's like the 30 days hasn't happened. So yes. Don't believe in them, people.
Okay. And what sort of goals do you set with your clients, and do you sort of consider any well-being or mental health goals when you're with them?
Yeah, so my clients set themselves goals. Obviously, I do help them with it, but I set challenges. For example, back in November, I did kind of like I suppose a bit like you guys did Move Your Mind in January, didn't you? So November is a bit of a funny one, I find. It's that kind of last proper month before the year's out and before that kind of festive period. I kind of set like a wellness challenge of kind of walking or running X amount of miles and getting out in the fresh air and making time for you. And it was a challenge aside from the sessions. And everyone loved it. It was great to kind of just really go, right, I'm going out for a half an hour walk right now. It's not about I've done my 10,000 steps a day, because you can do that just being busy. It's getting out into the fresh air, even though it's cold or whatever, and it's just so energizing and calming, and you've set time aside for you, which I suppose is going to go on to your next question about benefits of being outside. But yeah, or we will set goals together. So it might even be like, I work with a lot of people that are quite new to the gym, and they're quite beginner in terms of like working out inside a gym. Gyms are very intimidating places. and I work in one, and I still walk in sometimes and think, oh, or I'm going to do a workout in a gym and I'm like, oh, I'm a PT. Yeah, so I like that. Goodness knows how someone else feels. So a lot of the goals that we set on the off is to challenge themselves to do like one workout on their own. Gym.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter what it is. It's just going in on your own, getting something done, and you're walking out with such a sense of achievement, like, oh, I did my workout on my own. Like my PT wasn't like that's a really big goal, and it's gym intimidation is a thing. So
that's a really like a mental block that you kind of work on with them.
Yeah, lots of confidence things, and just, you know, accepting that we are all different shapes and sizes, and I kind of am much more performance based than I am aesthetic. So yeah, a lot of people come and go, oh, I want to lose weight, blah 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 blah, and I say that's amazing, I'm definitely going to help you with that, but I try and get them to steer away from the aesthetics and the scales and the measurements and go, right, today I squatted for the first time, or today I did my first solo workout and it didn't involve the treadmills, you know, kind of performance-based stuff rather than always on aesthetics and how we look. It's how we feel, and yeah, I'm big on that than honing down on kind of weight loss, because it does take a long time and you've got to enjoy the journey, otherwise you'll be living quite an unhappy life if you're not enjoying it.
And you're not going to want to go back to it, you know, at the end of the day, and keep going and doing that routine like you're saying there, making it consistent if it's just miserable.
One of the questions I always ask them before I start working with a client is kind of like, have they had a PT before, and what kind of stuff do they do? And I ask them if there's any exercises they hate. So a lot of people will say burpees, and I'm like, great, that's fine. If you hate them, we won't do them. I might do it variations of every now and again. So a lot of people think a burpee is jumping in, jumping to the floor, jumping up, you know. Well, that's actually putting quite a lot of stress on your knees if you're not doing it correctly. So why don't you walk out, walk in, walk up? That's still a burpee, but you're calming it down. It's less intense. So yeah, I'm not going to make someone do something that they hate. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, no, definitely. They're not going to want to come back.
Yeah, of course. They're not going to want to come back. They're not going to want to do it themselves, and they're probably going to get injured because there's a reason why you don't like something. Probably because it hurts.
Definitely, yeah. I can agree with the burpee sentiment. I think I went into walking burpees for a while because I thought I can't do a jump.
Yeah. It's not, they're not for everyone, but I must admit I do get a bit excited if someone's like, yeah, I love burpees, and I'm
like, 1 in a million.
Or another one is, don't make me run. I hate running. Because I'm a runner, I think people assume that I'm going to make them run. It's like, no, definitely not.
Yeah, I guess kind of what you were saying earlier, it links on to that question about whether you think it's important to exercise outside, and I guess why you think it's important to exercise outside. Has it got something to do with their mental health, their well-being, or what's the reasons that it can be really beneficial?
I think definitely spring, summer, obviously vitamin D is high, so that always increases kind of the endorphins and how we feel, and it's just good for our skin and whatnot being outside. But it's so refreshing, like getting even just using your body, or like one piece of equipment, going down to the local park, local field, and just doing a workout, and you're outside, like such a good feeling. And also it goes back to what I was saying, that the gym environment isn't for everyone. It's very intimidating. It can be very busy. It can be very daunting. Like, go back to basics. Like, from when we started being humans, we were living outside. We were hunting. We were living outside. We were, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, that is where we go back to as the human race. That is where we're most comfortable. So massive benefits on working out outside, and especially the area that we live in. You know, we're blessed with amazing sea views, countrysides. Like, it's incredible. Why would you not want to work out outside in this area?
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
Very calming, and just, I don't know, you just get such a different buzz of working out outside. The endorphin hits very different.
Rather than a sweaty gym.
Yeah, and like sometimes the gym kind of music can be like, and you're like, oh!
Intense. Yeah.
Whereas outside it's like, I don't know, the birds, the sea, whatever. It's just different, and it's good to have variety. If you're doing the same thing all the time, the same environment, spending it with the same people, you know, it is going to get a bit, you know, switch it up. That's when motivation stays high. You're taking different action to maintain motivation.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. And how do you think exercise has helped with your mental health and well-being?
I can't even describe to you in this one video how exercise has helped my mental health. Like, I definitely speak more freely about it now, but in my early 20s to mid 20s, probably 26, 27, I was a really unhappy person. I was unhappy with the way I looked. I was unhappy with the way my job. I was just unhappy. And I think finding running, finding weight training, and just really pushing my body to different limits and seeing the performance change, and actually, oh my god, you can get quite good at something if you put enough effort and stay consistent. I think it's just helped me just believe that I can do so much more than just, you know, your 9 to 5 job and whatnot. I think it made me change who I wanted to spend my time with, it, like my friendship group, like moving. It's given me confidence I never thought I could have. And that's what I try and give to my clients as well. Like, if you're achieving this inside your sessions and you're really pushing yourself out of your comfort zones, then yeah, you're going to grow, but not just in a fitness sense, in your whole life. If you this in the gym, then you're going to look at a situation at work very differently, because your mindset starts to change. You're more driven, you're more motivated. So to recap, it's done wonders for my mental health, and I can say that I'm the happiest I've ever been. And that's
fantastic.
It's not easy to say that, because you don't want to sound like you're gloating or anything like that, but I've worked really hard to be happy, and health and fitness has helped me doing that. And I will continue to shout from the rooftops that if you're not moving, you're not going to be that happy, and you have to find movement that works for you and that makes you happy. So if burpees don't make you happy, don't do them. If running makes you happy, do it. If biking makes you happy, then go and bike, you know. But yeah, movement is medicine.
Brilliant. Yeah. No, it's really fantastic that, you know, you've managed to find that thing for you that makes you really passionate and makes you just feel happy with your lifestyle and what you're doing, and you've managed to, as you say, make a career out of that, or a job out of it, and benefit from it in that way as well. So that's really great. Was there anything else that you sort of wanted to say about mental health and training or activity, physical activity?
Yeah, I feel like just maybe that it took me a while to get to this and to understand it as well, but exercise is something that you give to yourself. It's something that you do to yourself. So at the beginning of my fitness journey, as I spoke earlier, that I wasn't doing it in the most healthy way. It's really hard. You have to find a balance, and that, yes, you can find exercise to improve mental health, but it can damage it as well. If you feel like something's getting a little bit too obsessive, kind of stripping back or asking for a little bit of help, or speaking to family and friends before it does get to that point where it kind of overtakes. And that rest and recovery is just important as the workouts themselves. So whereas it does improve mental health, it can kind of damage it too. So yeah, exercise is what you give to yourself, not what you do to yourself. That took me a few years, so hopefully that advice will help someone who's listening to this.
Yeah, it's great that you can, as you say, almost impart some of that journey that you've had on someone, I was saying at the beginning, sort of starting them off on the right foot.
Yeah,
supporting them with that. Yeah, brilliant.
Start off the right foot, you're gonna get the results quicker. But yeah, and on this, if anyone's got any questions or queries, or just, I don't know, need someone to talk to, then my messages, sorry, my inbox is always open. More than happy to chat with anyone and share experiences. And yeah, if anyone's got any questions for me, I can answer them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Sophie, for speaking to us today. And that was sort of the end of the questions that I had for you. And we will pop this on our social media. So I will stop the recording now.